Good evening, everybody, and formally welcome to the OPA call for November 2024. I'm Alan Sharpen.
And I'm Hannah Sheridan,
We are Shackley Lifetime Master Coordinators
and your host for this evening.
and part of the OPA, meaning Organic Products Associates Organization. Just a brief explanation as to what OPA, Organic Products Associates, stands for. Gary and Mary Loomis began their business many years ago on the West Coast, and they built a terrifically large organization. Wonderful people, loved their organization, knew it would be a fabulously large, expansive organization, but they wanted to divorce it from just Mary and Gary Loomis Group. So they gave it the name Organic Products Associates, or OPA for short. So that all of us that are in that organization, we can say we're part of OPA. And OPA is one of the largest organizations in the Shackley Company. There are approximately 10 master coordinators, presidential master, lifetime master, master coordinators in the organization. Wow, very impressive, I think. Like that, we're still working to build an organization like that. And there's Shifra. Good evening, Shifra. So every month,
And Susan too.
the master coordinators that participate take a month, and whatever they want to do, they present the OPA family call, which is the
Second Monday.
second Monday, sorry, thank you, my dear, of the month, 8:30 Eastern time. So tonight it's our call, and we're excited to have you here. And if you noticed, the title of our call was Adversity versus Opportunity. Does anybody know anything about adversity? Has anybody had an adverse situation? Say yes.
Beginning.
I know. Say yes to yourself. Hannah's going to begin.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Are you an overcomer or are you an undergoer? Well, tonight we're going to hear from a few different Shackley business leaders and what they do when life happens, because we all know that this is what happens, right? And then after we hear from them, we are going to go through some specific tools for you as well to help you through that, because we're all going to have those challenges at one time or another. So have you ever been in a time where everything just seemed like it was just floating along, just riding, and everything was just copacetic and you were thrilled, and all of a sudden life happened and you feel like your life is crumbling? Well, when life happens, it's up to us how we actually view it, our perspective, and also it will be a question of ain't it awful or I'm so blessed. So what we're going to do, as I said, we're going to first have our speakers and then go into some tools and be able to share a really good evening together. So the first speaker about turning adversity into opportunity, or handling it when things are crumbling and being able to be resilient, is somebody who's very resilient, and that is Ashley DeAngelis. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And what an ironic day to have me. It's been a day of adversity from the middle of the night through the whole day. And what do? I just have to keep going, because that's what we have to do sometimes, right? To just make it through. But we have to do the little things that help us. And I always say the first thing is take a stress relief complex. Get your brain to calm down, feel better, and get through it. And I think in this business, we have so many things that, like, we're our own boss, right? We're on our own time. So we have to do the things for ourselves to help us get to the next step. And some days you have a full packed day and it's just go, 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 go. And some days you have less to do for your business, but maybe you have more to do for your personal life. And so in those days when they're busy, or when the days when they're a few and far between, the question is, how do we get ourselves to stay consistent in our business? Because when life does happen, we have to keep going. And at least that's the way I look at it. And, I love that we have a business that is that flexible for us. So, first, start being grateful that you have a business, grateful that you have something that even when things happen around you, you still have a business that can continue to grow and continue to support you. And you can get back to the next minute or the next day, whatever works in your craziness of your life when you have those adversities. When things are looking like they're not they're not getting where you want to go, and you start going, oh my goodness, these people aren't listening to this, or these people aren't um, doing what they need to do to grow their business, whether it's your ambassadors or your business leaders, or you have some customers that just don't seem to be ordering, things like that. Take a moment, stop, take your stress relief, and then look at where everybody's at and see how you can help be that light for them. Because I also find that when things are tough for you, if you can help give to others, that also lifts you and it helps you to feel better. And so as you start working with them and helping them plan, it helps kind of reset your mind as well. And if you're just not getting anywhere, one of the greatest things is find a new person. My mom, that's one of the things she's always taught me in this business. There's nothing a new person can't cure, or she'll say it better when she talks, but think about it. If you get a new customer or a new builder, and you start working with someone and you get that great energy, that helps to spur you on. So even if you're having a drought and you don't have a new person, keep that as your goal, knowing I can help make a difference for someone. So if I keep going and I keep looking to how I can help someone get healthier or get past a health issue, or just make an extra $300 for the holiday, I get to do that. And so if we look at it as what we can do for them, that a lot of times takes where we're at, and you go, okay, I can keep going because I know I'm making a difference for someone else. And one of the things too is if you're in a rut, I just told my son this the other day. I'm like, find something that helps change your brain around, whether it be after, again, take your stress relief, listen to music, dance, stand in the Wonder Woman pose, and make yourself feel powerful for your own self. Talk to a friend, go for a walk, go out in nature, go exercise, do whatever it is that works for you that can help change where you're at, and then help get you to that next point where you can keep going and keep working on your business and turn things around in your personal life. And so I, sometimes days just don't go as we plan. And sometimes for me, I just want to cry it out, or I just want to talk it out. And I just know that we're making a difference for people. And it's also not only changing their lives, but can continue to change our lives. So we need to keep going and need to keep spreading this message. So I hope that something I said can help you get to that next point and keep going through adversity to help you succeed in your personal life and your business.
Well, in my opinion, Ashley, for having a really crappy filled day, you put the cherry on top of the sundae with that little presentation. Terrific.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, this is going to be a great evening. I can't wait to hear every one of you that are speaking. Our next speaker is going to be Barb Jansen, and we've asked people to really talk about what's happened in their life that hasn't been so great, but what they did to do their overcoming. So Barb, would you like to join us now?
Thank you. Yes, I'm Sure Thing, Barb Sure Thing. So I just been thinking, we moved recently, well, almost 7 years ago to South Carolina. And in that time, I lost my mom My stepdad had kidney failure and had to have a transplant. My husband was his donor.
Wow.
And then my dad, we had to move here. We lost his wife, and then he had Merkel cell carcinoma and had to have radiation treatments for a whole summer. So this has been my time since I've moved here. And, you know, my business has been like a lifeline. I think some of the biggest things was the fact that I have another family besides my natural family and a lot of support. And I just took care of myself, still did my workouts, reading positive books and just staying on top of things. I took the time, I didn't maybe have a lot of programs going on, but I made sure that I sent thank you notes to all of my for all the orders that people brought in, and then they'd call me and just, you know, thank you. I appreciate that, you know, you're thinking about me. And they may or may not have even known what I was going through. And, you know, it just, so they were also part of my Shackley family besides my family here on the call. I still sent newsletters out. I got on all the training calls, mostly because it just gave me something else to think about besides what was going on in my life. Attending any events that I could possibly attend, and just kind of keeping that energy up and knowing that I'm making a difference for myself as well as for other people. And just really following up with my members. So those were things that I could still do while I had all these other things going on in my life. And I would never neglect my Shackley business for anything. It's too important for me as well as for all the people that we touch and take care of.
Great, Barb.
Wow. In addition to the cherry, those are the little nuts on top of that sundae. Terrific. Thank you.
You know, one thing I've always appreciated with you, Barb, that is exactly the case, that you have had life happen, but you found a way to keep your head in the place where you needed to be able to maintain or move forward. And I think that's a wonderful quality and appreciate that in you. And hopefully that's going to help other people listening tonight as well.
Thank you.
So thank you. And Catherine is our next speaker. And Catherine's had a whole lot of adversity just recently, and I'm sure she's going to address that with everything else that she talks about. So, Catherine?
Yes, and so actually today in particular has been a very raw day for me, so I might not make it through, but I'm gonna try. See, I'm already. Yeah, so when I was 18, I have a cousin of mine. My family's actually from Brazil. My cousin's husband, when I was 18, I remember he told me, you need to write a book. I was in college. He's like, you could even stop going to college, just write a book like right now. There's enough content in your life. And like everything he touches turns to gold. I like should have listened to him. But so there's been a lot, pretty my whole life, I would say, adversity. But like post Shackley, I will say that my main things, and I do have to say, I really didn't think much about what I was going to say today. So whatever I'm saying is just really, it's very unscripted. So, but yeah, and let me just take a step back. For those of you who don't know, I live in Lake Lure, Chimney Rock, North Carolina, which many people didn't know where that is, but now thanks to Helene, most people do know. So that is my community. And aside from our Shackley business, we had a little rock shop and gem and minerals. And so we have been affected. So I've been a little absent because I've really just, been trying to keep my head above water these days. So yes, so things that have kept me through the adversities in life. So post Shackley, I always say Jesus and Shackley. Those are the two things. So like Barb said, like just having the community, our Shackley family, whether it's our customers or our Shackley cousins and our Shackley group, there's such a diverse ages and backgrounds, and we do come together, and it is just a nice consistent thing that we can come to and know it's here. And of course, I'm sure most of you have this blessing, but when needed, we can go to our uplines and cry and talk. And, even like maybe no one else is available, but they are there to listen. So that has been definitely a blessing for me. So as far as just things that literally get me through adversity on a daily basis, it is in the morning. I have a lot of things that are negotiable in my day because you have to go with the flow of what's happening a lot of times in the day. But for me, I have to get up in the morning and I have to have my prayer time, and I read my Bible, and I just have a time of stillness and of gratitude. The gratitude is so important to look at. There are a lot of things that are happening that are devastating. We all have situations in our lives in different times that are very difficult. But in all of those situations, if we stop and look, we can find things that we can be thankful for. And shifting that perspective, and not to ignore the reality of the pain that is happening in life, because that's not healthy, but to not focus so much on it, to look at things that you can be thankful for, is something that is really important. And we truly do have so many blessings that we can find on a daily basis. And really just like when there's so much that I can't do, what can I do? So I don't know if anyone knows Elizabeth Elliot, but she is someone who has been I love her. She has been through enormous adversity in her life. And she says, sometimes life is so hard, you can only do the next thing. Whatever that is, just do the next thing. God will meet you there. And I have to say that has been very, very true in my life. So, sorry.
No need to apologize. We all have great empathy for you. And Jeannie just sent you lots of hearts for lots of love.
Almost done, I promise.
It's okay. Take your time.
So really just like taking the focus off yourself. Okay. So something that I have found that really helps me, and like Ashley said, goodness, dang, Hannah, I told you this. And crying and stress relief. And actually, I do love the stress relief complex. I used to call it my gateway drug because I would literally carry a bottle and give someone a sample, and then they'd love it so much that they would want a bottle, and I'd always have a closed one to sell them. But the cheer up and cheer out is like fantastic too, and it's sweet. So those I can't forget to share how important those are. Also eating, which I am not always, that sometimes isn't a negotiable for me, and I know I can't do it, but when I do have my life shake in the morning, my whole day is a little bit better because my blood sugar isn't low and I don't have that element to deal with. But just going back to taking the focus off of yourself and just finding people, even if it's just for a moment, just for a conversation with someone, just if giving someone else your attention lets people know how important they are, and it does take the focus off of you and everything you're going through. And so I could go through, I kind of had some other like little adversities I've been through and just some things to share, but I used up my time by crying, so I can't. I'm gonna cut it
No,
short.
that's perfectly okay. If
But
there's something else you want to share, it's fine.
but yeah, just learning from like in the adversity, and you make mistakes happen, right? And things don't go as you've planned. But instead of dwelling on the mistake or dwelling on the failure, if you will, if we can just focus on, okay, what can I do better next time, or what can I learn from this, then it's not an adversity. It turns the adversity into an opportunity. So thank you for your patience with me, guys. And thanks for letting me share.
Well, thank you so much, Catherine.
That's the whipped cream on the sundae.
Yeah, that took a lot of bravery on your part tonight. And I really appreciate that about you, with all the things that have happened to you that we've known all these years that we've known you. And it is amazing just what you do. And you reach out and help so many others. And actually, she has a brand new builder on the call tonight. Do you want to just quickly just introduce her?
Sure. So Lisa Schwartz, she's my partner in crime because every time we get together, we do something good. So I don't want to say partner in crime. Crime is excellent, excellence. So I've known her we were calculating this. She actually just came down from Ohio, where I'm originally from, to help me. She made sure I ate, and she made sure I exercised, and we prayed together, and she helped to dig me out of there's just so much mess here. So she really helped. And yeah, so we've known each other, I think we calculated about 14 years. So she's just a fantastic person who loves people, which is why we get along, and loves helping people. And yeah, so she's fantastic, and it's great to have you here, Lisa.
Lisa, if you want to unmute just to say hi to everyone, you can, as we all welcome you to our Shackley family.
The space bar down is
The Go
easiest.
People team.
No, you're not unmuted yet. No.
That's okay. Well, hopefully next week you'll be able to talk to us on our regular call. For sure. No, yeah, I don't think you can do it. Okay, so welcome. And I don't know about all of you, but I'm already feeling like ready to cry right with these women. And our last speaker for this evening, besides what Alan and I are going to do with you, is Linda Burkheiser. And we've known Linda, and she came into our business very early on in our business, and just she and her husband Rick, who's passed, have always been such an inspiration to us, and I think you'll see why as you hear Linda speak. Welcome, Linda.
Scott, can you unmute her? Get your space bar, Linda, see if that works.
Working on it.
Or in the lower left-hand corner.
Find her.
Is your audio microphone on, Linda?
Linda Burkheiser?
Correct.
I think I just sent her a button to push.
Am I in?
You're in.
Yes.
Hi.
Yay.
I try. Excuse me. Okay, well, first of all, I listened to everybody and I thought, oh my God, what wonderful speakers. You don't need me. But at the same time, every single thing that people said, I could relate to because I think I've done it all. One of the things I did today was I haven't been able to find my gratitude book. And so Emily, my associate who's here with me, she helps me. And she said, didn't you find your book yet? And I said, no, I can't go forward. I've got to start a new book because I can't go forward. And she said, it's right under those pages over there. So she found it for me. So just to show you that that's something I use too. I really think that makes the biggest difference. As far as my story, most people know my story, but my whole life has been, I'm 78 years old. And of those 78 years, the first 35 were somewhat normal. And after that, everything's been kind of more adversity after that. So I've been going through this for years. So my husband fractured his neck when he was like 38. I was 37. We had 4 children and our lives turned upside down. He became a quadriplegic. Our lives turned upside down. And then everything went from there. So we met Hannah and Alan and they were wonderful people who introduced us to Shackley. And then we started what we were doing. I would say the best thing for me is always something was always happening, not only kid stuff, but also my husband was in and out of the hospital. We were flying here, we were flying there, we were trying to get him help. And the thing that helps me the most is, of course, I'm a caretaker. I love to help people. That's my thing. I'm a nurse. I knew I wanted to be a nurse when I was 8 years old. I want to help people. So that's what keeps me going forward. And I love the Shackley products. I love the Shackley family. But what I found for me was when I really decided, hey, this is it. I'm really doing this business for good. And that was when I was about 50 that I really said, okay, this is it. I'm not working for any more people that don't know what they're doing. I'm working for myself. I found that it was real helpful to just put those blinders on with anything that happened and just go forward. You just have to go forward. And also personally for me, because I'm hopefully not everybody in this call is like this, but I'm very ADD and have to work with that. So I have to set up systems for myself. So every once in a while, and just like you said, some days you'll have good days, some days you'll have bad days. Some days wonderful things will happen and it'll get you right off track. And you'll say, oh, what did I do for my business? Haven't done anything for 2 days, And then I'll find that I need to get back on track and I go back to my systems. And my systems might be things like the things we learned when we first started Shackley. 3 appointments a week, 3 to 5 appointments a week. And I go for always 3 appointments a week if I can. Meet new people, meet with people, tell them what you're about, tell them what you love. Find out everything you can about them and see what they are interested in. And as I said, part of my background is I was a psych nurse for years and I loved it, but I love people and I love talking to people. So for me, I have a struggle with the internet, but if I can meet with people one-on-one, that's where I can go forward so much easier. So those are things that work for me. So if it was a time that was quiet, we didn't know what to do, all of a sudden we sent out newsletters. I think the biggest thing is let people help you. And I learned that when my husband was first hurt. Somebody said to me, because I thought I should handle it all. Now, and this is true when you have a business, you think you should handle it all. But he said to me, Linda, when you don't have people want to help you. And when you block them out and you don't let them help you, you're doing a disservice to them. That is not showing bravery. That is showing the kindest thing you can do is to let people help you. And I'll never forget that he said that. So in my business, just as Hannah said, when you make money, you get somebody to clean your house. When you don't like to do something, you get somebody to help you. And we've had our kids folding newsletters. We had neighbor kids that we hired. So I think the whole thing is there's just an awful lot of things that you can do to keep yourself going. If it doesn't work this way, you try it another way. Right now, I'm happy. I'm kind of excited because I started to do like luncheons that are wellness community luncheons. And I'm excited about it because it gives me a chance to get a lot of people together. It gives me a chance to say, if we all do this together, if we can all share the word and help people, look at all the people we could help. Because look at this nice group of people that we all care about health. We all care about each other, but we all care about making a difference. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So that's what I like. And I would just say, even with the disappointment that some people have had, and I'm going to mention this because it doesn't matter what you wanted with the election. There's a lot of unrest right now. And when people talk to me, I said, you know what? I think you just have to put your blinders on, do the same thing that you've always done because you're in a good business, you're helping people, and don't let anything upset you because we just have to go with the flow. And I've pretty much gone with the flow as much as I could. So that's about all I have to share. But I love the Shackley family too. Like the other day when Hannah called me, I said, Hannah, thank goodness you called me. I just had this one complaint and I wanted to say it to somebody. So she got my complaint. So it's great to have a good upline. It's great to have a good upline. Yeah, that's all I can share, I think.
Well, that's the banana split.
Okay.
Great presentation by you all. Super.
I'm a banana.
Terrific.
It is, I've taken some notes while I'm trying to listen and look at my things. And, it's just so wonderful that if you notice, and I'm sure you have, that every one of these speakers spoke from the heart.
Wonderful.
And that authenticity reaches people and touches their heart, and that draws people to you. And that's one of the things that, in a way that we can get past adversity too, is by doing a lot of the things you heard tonight and some things we're going to tell you about now, because we can set ourselves up for adversity or for opportunity. And one of the ways we can do that is what we focus on and what we attract into our lives. So we're going to talk a little bit about the law of attraction in just a minute. But we thought that maybe be good to first hear, Alan's going to tell you about one of the great tools that we urge everybody to take advantage of.
Well, it's a couple different tools. One, we're going to talk about our books. Now, when I say books, we of course mean reading books and books on tape. And I'm just going to name a handful that have been very meaningful and positive in my life, and I think some of these at least in Hannah's life. One is How to Win Friends and Influence People, Norman Vincent Peale. When I was graduated from college many years ago, my background wasn't a real positive one, wasn't negative, but not real positive. But I started to read books and take on this very positive mindset. And that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is one of the gold standards of that kind of thinking. Highly recommend it. Another would be Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I mean, these are classics that have helped people throughout the ages. The third one would be The Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. So those are three winners, and there are many, many others. Some of the authors that you could think about would be Wayne Dwyer, John Maxwell, Tony Robbins. Now, they have all different kinds of books, but if you're looking for books to help you mentally overcome, just focus on those as opposed to how-tos to do your business. And then there are podcasts. I personally can't recommend specific podcasts because I haven't gotten
Ted Sinek.
into that yet. Simon Sinek he's on
TED Talks.
TED Talks, yeah. But they're just a million and one podcasts that are absolutely fabulous. And another book, which I think should be required reading for everyone, is the Shaklee Story, telling about Shaklee and how it was founded. So those are some of the things that you can really use to help you really promote and develop this positive mindset. Then we'll talk about a couple movies.
Can I just add something to that?
Sure.
So when we're talking about books, many times over the years, people have said, but I'm just not a reader. I just don't read books.
Books on tape?
One thing to do, you don't have to read a chapter or a book in a week. Read at least a paragraph a day. Just something that helps keep you where you want your head to be. And you might find yourself getting to be more of a reader than you thought too. Okay, go back to
Okay, so these movies I'm going to mention, one is a very old classic. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend all of these. Rudy, a football movie from Notre Dame. What a powerful story on overcoming. I got two dog movies. One is Megan Levy. This is on Netflix. True story. Talk about overcoming. It's a fantastic movie. Another one is Rescued by Ruby. Another dog story. Excellent. If you haven't seen Zion, you need to watch that. It's an 11-minute movie on Netflix. Zion. Unbelievable. And the other one another one I'm going to spell for you. SRIKANTH. A Netflix movie that, again, is beyond description. I mean, this guy was born with a problem, and what he developed his life into is just inconceivable. So I highly recommend those. Help you in whatever you're doing.
another movie. When our children were small, Alan discovered The Power of One. And it's an old movie, but if you can get your hands on it, it's so fabulous that he not only had our kids sit and watch it, but we took it to the schools and everything. It's just something that's great for everybody.
Thanks for reminding me of that one. Yeah.
And while we're mentioning that, I'd like to mention a couple of the stories too that that maybe you do or don't know of. In Shackley, there's a woman by the name of Marlene Eggerer. And she's been in Shackley a lot longer than we have. But one of the first things we heard about was her story when we got into Shackley. She had polio as a child and has always been confined to a wheelchair. And she was talented. And she entered a design contest to create a doll, and she won. And it was supposed to be a trip to Europe. As soon as they found out about her handicap, they took the award away from her because they didn't want the responsibility. And I can't think of his name right now. His first name is actually Alan, but I can't think of his last name now. He was a congressman from California, where she lives, and he heard about her story, and he actually wrote a message into the congressional record lauding Shackley because, as she said, Shackley was the first time she could ever be like a first-class citizen, be accepted for who she was, and create anything she wanted to for her life. So that's, I don't know if you know that, we're in the congressional record many years ago. So I think that's a great story. And I don't know if you all saw on America's Got Talent, the young fellow that was born without a bottom half of his body. I mean, he really has just his torso and his arms.
His name is Zion. I just recommended
Oh,
that.
that's the one. Okay, right.
Watch it tonight. It's 11 minutes on Netflix.
What he's
Unreal.
and not only what he says, he's now a motivational speaker, and he's accomplished gymnastics. I forget what all
Wrestling.
that's, but just he's just amazing. So some of those things, sometimes I think that our life looks a whole lot better to us when we see what some other people have gone through. My grandmother used to say, if you put all your problems in a basket and everybody else's problems in their basket, you choose your own.
And a famous quote by the Indian Seneca, you don't know what somebody's life is like until you walk in their shoes.
In their moccasins, right? Okay, so do we succumb and shut down, or do we work our way through knowing that most everything's temporary anyhow? I mean, some things can't be changed, but most things are temporary. So you heard, I think, just about every speaker either said it by these words or applied it, and that is about adversity versus opportunity. You know, what is our perspective? How do we do it? And when we're fearful, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's the only way I think you ever get over a fear, is by facing it and doing it. Ask yourself not why not, but how. And how does telling yourself why you can't do something, does that ever make you stronger? And whoever benefits by that? Not really anyone, right? So what if you tell yourself why you need to, or why you can, and how you can? No excuses, make choices. And then, of course, the important tools of doing affirmations. And if you don't know what affirmations are, we can't spend a lot of time tonight, but just to share with you, when you want to do an affirmation, it's actually saying something as though it already is that way in your life. So the two most powerful words in the English language are I am. So whatever you say, I am, it better be something powerful,
Good.
positive, or good for you. So if you ever doubt that that really works, when you're feeling fine and not sleepy at all, start saying I'm tired and just keep saying it. And before long, you're going to be yawning. And it's a great way of example of seeing how powerful that actually is. So whatever you want to be follows I am, but you say it in the present tense as though you already have it. And as specific as you make it, the better it is. If you have a time frame on it, that's good as well. And there's one other, and I can't think of it at the moment. So if anybody remembers the other one,
I am
jump
a
in.
Shackley master coordinator. If that's your goal.
Right. And you can use it for your health. You can use it for what kind of parent you are. Many, many different things, how powerful that is. And visualization, seeing it happen before it ever has happened. And if you keep seeing things in a negative way of what's going to happen, the law of attraction will bring you more of that. But if instead what you're visualizing is all for good things happening for you and for other people, health-wise as well. Before we ever knew of Shackley, and I had Crohn's disease very badly at that point and spent better part of 4 years in bed. And during that time, I didn't know what kind of life we were going to have, because poor Alan, new bride, and this is what's going on in her life. And when they wanted to do surgery on me, I laid in bed every day and visualized.
This is before she knew what visualization was.
Right. It was not that I took on the tool. This just happened. I'd lie there and picture the Crohn's shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and then taking it out. And when they had tested me in February, when they decided they wanted to do surgery, they had told me Crohn's was spread out throughout my intestines. When they went in May, it was limited to 3 small sections that they were able to remove. And that took care of a lot of my problems, but Shackley took care of the majority of the others. So visualization, such a powerful tool. Casting a vision. What kind of business do you want to have? You know, you can take Post-its and put them on a chart, or how many people you want. You can write in names and do it in pencil. So if they don't come through, you can put somebody else there or change the Post-it. But anything you can do to visualize. We used to do in the beginning of our business, every time we'd have a meeting, if somebody sponsored somebody that week, they got to come up and put their person's name on the tree, the branch. And we wound up having to have, I don't remember how many poster boards going across the room. And it was fun and everybody enjoyed it, got excited. So whatever you can do to also motivate yourself, because that's important too. Not just motivating other people, but the best way to motivate others is by motivating yourself. And you'll give that motivation for others, which, by the way, Creating Affluence by Deepak Chopra, I started reading maybe 15 years ago, maybe. I read 5 pages, as he suggests in the book, every day at bedtime. It's another good thing you might want to try. And then there's another real powerful tool. Came from a book called Silva Mind Control, but that sounds like nasty kind of thing, and it's not at all. What it is a tool that, I think his name is Robert Anthony, that came up with this. When something is not happening the way you want, take the picture of what you're seeing and move it over to the right, like it was a movie screen, and replace it with the way you want to see it. And that is fantastic. You can't imagine how much that can work for you. And of course, by being stronger and by doing the kinds of things that we're talking about tonight, it's going to improve not just your Shackley business. It's going to improve you and every relationship in your life. I can promise you that. I am sure that this business created us to be better parents than we would have been without it. Hopefully, better friend than we would have been without it. More grateful than we would have ever been without it. A lifestyle that most people only dream of. And we're so grateful for all of you, whether you're in our organization or not. We just hope you all are going to go out and make sure that you continue spreading the great Shackley business, this great Shackley products, as you make a difference in people's lives, helping them on their wellness path and their health path and their wellness path if they choose as well. Remembering, attitude is everything.
And the one last book that we want to mention is the best-selling book in the world. That's called the Bible. Now, if you're a religious person, you've probably read it, many times. If you're not a religious person and have not read it, you can read it for the content and not the religiosity of it. Take it for what it's worth reading. Okay, any questions?
Or anybody else want to share?
Give a comment.
Anybody have a story about adversity and turning things around, or more tools to be able to do that? We welcome you to jump on.
Put your hand up and we'll tell Scott to unmute you. Okay,
Barb.
Scott, can you unmute Barb and Doran, please? Barb, turn-
Barb knows how to click her little microphone. All I can do is ask them to.
there you go. Go ahead, Barb.
Thanks, Scott. Now, sometimes when you achieve a certain rank in Shackley, and we are masters, people think, oh my gosh, this was so easy. It was just, an upboard thing. And there was a time, it's years ago now, but I lost 5 first level business leaders within 3 months. And knowing what I know now, that probably wouldn't have happened because I would have dealt with things differently. But it was like somebody punching me in the stomach. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I cried for about a day. And then I thought, okay, now how do we turn this around? So there's always going to be stuff that happens. I don't care who the person is you're looking at, if it's your neighbor next door, if it's somebody you have admired for a long time, if it's anyone. But there's always stuff in their life. And everything that Alan and Hannah have been talking about, and everyone else who spoke tonight, has had the experiences. We can either take the things that happen to us and complain, or we can turn them into opportunities, because I believe personally there are no coincidences. We're on a path, we choose our path, and we can choose to go after things in a positive way or not. And that doesn't mean you're a Pollyanna, but just be realistic and move forward in a way that's going to be helpful to you and to other people, and it'll make a difference.
Thank you, Barb. Terrific. And now the other half of the Mendoran organization, the lesser half, or the other half.
You
The
got
better
that
half
right.
already spoke. Go ahead, Ray, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can.
Okay. I just wanted to maybe say a little bit more about what Hannah was talking about, because I think it's so, so important. We have within us our subconscious. It works for us 24 hours a day. It does not know negative from positive. So our self-talk is so, so very important. If we say I am going to be a director, I am going to be a better father, I am going to be whatever it is, your subconscious will work for you 24 hours a day on a positive note. If you say, I can't do this business, this is just not working, guess what? The subconscious will take that negative and it will work on you. And you're right, you won't be able to do this business. So the subconscious, very, very powerful. And so it's just kind of what Hannah was talking about. It is just so important. So watch yourself talk. That's important.
That subconscious is like network marketing. You get paid even when you're not working. Put that positive stuff in, it's going to work all the time.
Yeah, and one of the books that I read one time, I can remember, if you picture your life like a scale, balance scale, however many negatives you put in, you have less and less of the room for the positives, and vice versa. The more positive you put in, the less value and weight is given to the negatives. And I forget who has said that one negative cancel is about the same as 1,000 positives. So we really have to protect ourselves. So great. Anybody else?
Schifra, go right ahead. Do not unmute yourself. Hit the mic button. There you go.
Wow, such a powerful call. Thank you all for sharing. Everyone can relate to, the challenges and adversity. And the advice you gave, Hannah and Alan, are just amazing. Every single one is true and they all work. So thank you so much for this call. And I took lots of notes. I just want to give a suggestion. It happened today, so it's fresh. So if anybody likes the idea, they can do it. So there are certain things that we do in our business that becomes part of our DNA. It's like it doesn't matter how busy we are, those things we're gonna do, regardless. We already learned to do these things in between all the stuff. So we just got out of a couple of weeks of holiday, and it was very hectic for the last 2, 3 months. And I have to get back to work, right? So those daily things, never between everything, they got done. The orders, the whatever had to get done. So what goes on the back burner? Those things that you want to do that could create new opportunities, right? A new conference call, a new program, a new idea, a new something you want to share to do for yourself or for the team. And I have on in my calendar that I want to do a certain conference call for my team. And I don't know, I didn't do it. So last week, I met up with one of my downlines, and I think the lesson of it is that we need a partner because we are our own business people, right? We can decide our hours. So I could get busy just with the daily stuff, and then you never get to those extras. So I met with my downline, Leah, and we had a 4-hour meeting. It was also personal. We were catching up from busyness, and then we were strategizing and planning. And I said one thing. I said, before we leave, we are setting a time when we are meeting on a Zoom to start doing the things we want to do. Now, the Zoom was at 11 o'clock, and I just had to get on because she was there and waiting for me. And she was expecting me, and I was expecting her. And we just got the thing done that I want to do for 3 months, and I didn't do it. Now it still there's still work involved, but we got the project started. So I think, all of us can relate to it. We all have ideas, creative ideas and things we want to do. And like Ashley shared and and a lot of you is that even if we have issues, Shackley is a lifesaver. Shackley for me is like a tuning out to all the stuff that we have to do, right? This is our place where we could use our abilities, we could shine, we could make a difference in people's lives. There's so much we can do in this business, and we're really blessed and grateful to have it. And our business is sustaining. So I keep thanking God for this blessing, and we should just keep it, and we should be able to grow and flourish. But if you're not getting things done that you really want to get done, get any partner. It could be a sideline, a downline, an upline, and just set a time where you have to get together and say, hey, we're doing it right now, and be accountable to each other's. This is not a new thing. We've been doing accountability for years, but maybe sometimes we just have to refresh again. And just even me as a master coordinator, there's so much to do. There's so much to follow on the team, and there's always excuses, but being accountable to another person can be very helpful and can help you get through all kinds of adversities. Everybody understands each other's, and then we just go focus, move on, because people are praying for what we have. They're not as lucky, and we have to come around and share it with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Ellen,
you.
I had one other thing I wanted to say. I just compelled to say it. Catherine, my heart was breaking for you when you were speaking, and I just want you to know that I and there are other prayer warriors on this call. We will be keeping you in our prayers, and I want you to know that.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Awesome.
that, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
I'm sure Catherine's thanking you too, whether she can mute or not, unmute or not, I don't know.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your participation
Thank
and
you
your
for
attentiveness.
Thank you for our speakers, for Ashley, Barb, Catherine, and Linda. You all just nailed it and shared from the heart. It was just beautiful. Thank you so, so much. And we appreciate all of you. Let's all go do this. We've got to go out there and reach more people, help more people. And the more you're helping, the more your share will become greater as well.
Upward and onward. Go for it, folks.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Night. Thank you.